Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we turn corporate filings into something you might actually want to watch. Get ready, because this episode is going to be more dramatic than a soap opera, filled with plot twists about a blank check company that's running out of time. We're diving into Slam Corp's latest annual report, a company set up by baseball legend Alex Rodriguez. The clock is ticking because it seems like they are scrambling to find a business to acquire before their deadline. The numbers tell a story of dwindling options and a race against time. Let's jump into the main point, the financial statements. For the year, they actually had a profit of $1.8 million, which looks good, but there is more to the story. We see here that expenses came out to $3.4 million, and a large part of the income came from investments and changes in the value of some of their holdings, not from running a business because they don't have one yet. A real worrying sign is the cash flow statement that tells us what happened to their cash. Here we see they used $2.3 million in operating activities. This means that while they might be making money in some ways, the core business, which is trying to find a business to buy, is actually costing them millions. That is not a sign of stability. Instead, it's a sign they better hurry up. We can also see the bank balance is extremely low at just over $500 versus $75,000 the previous year, showing they are definitely burning through their funds. Now, if we check who owns the most shares, we see the main shareholder is Slam Sponsor LLC with 14.2 million shares. They are the ones with the most to gain or lose depending on what happens next. To add some perspective to this, most of their assets are not even accessible, held in their trust account for $22.8 million. We can see how much this has changed from $98 million from the previous year. That is what remains after they had to pay back shareholders who got tired of waiting. The numbers in the trust account represent the cash they have on hand to do a deal, and their number is going down as more shareholders ask for their cash back. To add some more spice to this story, Slam Sponsor LLC has lent money to Slam Corp in the form of working capital loans. Money is being moved around, showing the complex nature of this company. If they don't find a business to acquire, they still have to return the borrowed money to their insiders. We need to point out a technical detail here because they are classifying as an emerging growth company. They have elected to have certain accounting privileges. The details are complicated, but it does mean that investors have to take it with a grain of salt. The rules for these companies aren't as strict, so it might be harder to compare results with other companies. Another tricky area is how they are accounting for their warrants. Their estimated value is based on complex models to calculate what these complicated instruments are actually worth. We can see that the value of these financial derivatives is significant, reaching into the millions. The report talks about several risks such as inflation and geopolitical events. These might seem like generic boilerplate, but they actually are quite important to the company. Increased interest and economic volatility would make it harder for the company to do their main goal, which is to get a good deal for an acquisition. Here's the plot twist we were looking for. On February 4, 2024, Slam Corp announces a deal with Link Global Inc., a space infrastructure firm, with the goal to go public under ticker symbols LNK and LNKW, pending regulatory approvals. It is interesting to note that the original agreement was extended multiple times, but shareholders kept asking for their money back due to lack of news or progress. To ensure this deal goes through, Antara Capital is stepping in. They are offering what's called a backstop, essentially a promise to buy more shares of Topco if not enough people invest, up to $25 million. A big part of this is the people in control have promised to vote in favor of the merger. The independent directors and other big names are locked to a side, trying to influence the deal. And just before we think everything is figured out, we find that their trust account has a very specific purpose. They can't just use that cash for anything they want. The cash is reserved for these very specific scenarios: complete a business combination, redeem public shares, or give the money back by a certain date. On this means there is a very clear understanding about how the money is used. All of this is to ensure they have enough cash for our redemptions if shareholders don't like the deal. It will also affect how much money they have to run the new company. But here's the kicker. Their own management says there's substantial doubt about their ability to continue as a going concern. In simple terms, they are not sure they can stay afloat if they don't get this deal done. So what's our take on all of this? On the surface, it looks like Slam Corp is trying to land a deal, but digging deeper reveals a company against the ropes. As their cash dwindles and the clock runs out, the pressure to find a target is enormous. While this Link deal could be the Hail Mary, it's also fraught with risks and uncertainties. One of the most glaring issues is their reliance on outside money. The backstop agreement, while helpful, underscores the lack of organic investor enthusiasm. It's a gamble and it might pay off, but it is still just a gamble. The heavy reliance on a few key players, such as the existing officers and directors of Slam, is also a bit worrisome. While that has been the plan since the start, it might limit their vision and strategic independence. Diversity of thought would be useful to have a broader view of opportunities. While it is very admirable that Alex Rodriguez and Himanshu Gulati set out to do something, this specific venture is going to be a tough situation, and they had to throw a lot of their principles out of the window. Thanks for watching Corporate Decoder. If you found this breakdown insightful, hit that like button, drop a comment with your thoughts, and don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the world of finance. Until next time,